So, you want to invest, but you aren't quite ready to do the vetting yourself? Where can you go to find the investments you can trust? Well, watch the end for where I send my clients for the strongest investments that are out there. All right, so number one, the real thing you should be asking is who, not what. So many times people keep asking me, what's the best investment? How do I know where to invest? Well, that's a good question. But most importantly, what you should be really asking is when you're looking at a potential deal is who is doing the investing for you? I'm specifically talking about passive investing, right? Where you're turning your money over to somebody else. The who is so much more important than what they're investing in. See, understand, when people send you their numbers, when they send you all the good stuff saying, here's how much money you can make, and here's the 15 to 18 or 20% type of returns you can make, internal returns over the next so many years, right? It all looks great on paper. But at the end of the day, when it comes to stress, right? When they're really struggling with issues, right? When issues arise that you're not dealing with, they're dealing with. But when those issues arise, what happens when they're under stress? What do? Is their integrity intact? Do they actually make sure they're gonna keep paying you when times get tough? Because inevitably, at some point, times do get tough, right? And so that's why the who is so much more important than the what. You need to make sure that the person has good integrity. And this is one of the hardest things to measure. So I know I gave you the hardest one right up front, but the best way to do that is get to know the person, really understand them. Understand what they've been doing over the past, Ask them about their experiences. What happened when times got tough? What did they do? So that's really important there. Now, number two is probably an obvious one. Well, hopefully it's obvious. In this day and age, if you haven't Googled people, it might not be a bad idea. Google, I know there can be lots of junk out there, but it's not a bad thing to Google somebody and find out about their past. Did something happen that maybe they had a financial failure? Now, financial failures in the past for people aren't that bad. I actually know a guy that's an amazing operator. However, you look in his past, and he's more than willing to admit it, he went bankrupt, right? He got sued. Things like that happened in the last recession. I actually love hearing about those stories. If somebody got their butts kicked in the last recession, hopefully, right? Hopefully they learned from those lessons. And that's what's good. So I like to know experience, and Google often can bring up those things. Now, if I try to Google them and I can't find anything, it kind of makes you wonder, have they been around that long? Are they that experienced? How do we really know if this is that good? Now, keep hanging in here, guys, because I'm getting to this last point, because this is what I've been doing for my own clients to make sure that they can find those vetted people much faster, taking much less of your time. All right, so number three, this is how I find a lot of people I vet, is I network. I find a network of people. You might have heard the phrase, birds of a feather flock together, right? This is so true. If you want to find people that have good integrity, that have good track records, often find other people that are the same way. What I've noticed in my own experience is that the people that are the charlatans, the people that are great marketers but bad operators, right? The people that maybe they talk a good talk but they can't walk the walk, they tend to flock together. They tend to be in the same groups. They tend to be beating their chests, about who's better, right? I know I just looked like Donkey Kong just now, but it's really about that. They're always chest beating. They always kind of come together. It's very much like a facade, right? There's a lot of facade around them, where people that have a lot of integrity, people that are the real deal, tend to have this humble confidence, right? That's one of our key values in our company, Money Ripples, is we like humble confidence. You know you're awesome, but you're not gonna be beating your chest about it. You don't brag about it. You just do it, right? You just let your actions show more than your words do. And that's exactly what you see these guys do. So when I network, I go to different mastermind groups, right? I'm going to different mastermind groups where these people are getting together. Now, there are lots of events you can go to. There are REIA groups, that is an REIA, right? Real estate investor groups. If you go to these groups, there are always local chapters in your different areas. You can obviously attend these and start to meet people in your area. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna find the best people in your area. Sometimes I find the best people not in my area. I find them across the country. But this is a great way to start, to really network, to get to know people, to get a good sense for who the people that are actually of good integrity, the people that actually know what they're doing, who do they hang around? Who do they recommend? That's what's so important. If you find those people that say, hey, I recommend this person, they're great, and this person also has great integrity, they also have a great track record, oh my goodness, that's how you start to really find those connection pieces. And I'll tell you, it's not easy. I've built my own network over the last really 15, almost 20 years as I've tried to do this. So it's not easy, but I'm telling you, when you get in the right networks, when you get around the right people that have good, solid character, the good salt of the earth people, you'll find out that they all tend to network together So that's the best way to go, is find those people and then ask them who they trust. Who do they like in their own industry? Now, before I get to the next point, don't forget to like and subscribe on our channel here. All right, number 4, track record. I've kind of alluded to this already, but track record is so important. I mean, how many times have you heard people say, even in the mutual fund world, they say, what's the track record of that investment, right? What's the average return over time, that kind of thing. That's no different here. We want to have a good, solid track record. Now, how long should that track record be? Personally, I like at least a minimum of 10 or 15 years. And I don't mean 10 or 15 years of total investing. I mean 10 or 15 years of doing that investment. So for example, I've known people that maybe they've started out doing rental real estate, but then they shift gears. Maybe they go into trying to do hotels, and maybe they've only done hotels for the last couple years. Now, their track record has not been proven yet, have they? They're just starting out. They're really cutting their teeth, as they say, right? They're just getting going. And so the problem is that when you start to try to invest with people like that, you don't want to be the guinea pig. You don't want to be the first few people that they're trying it with. And especially, I like to know that these people, when they've done an investment, they've gone through a full market cycle. They've been through the ups, the highs, and they've been through the lows, right? I love it when people said, hey, I was actually investing in the last Great Recession. And now, guess what? I'm still investing through the highs, and I'm investing into the next recession. Those are the kind of people that at least perk my ears a little bit. Doesn't mean I'm gonna put them in my network, but it does mean I take them with a lot more credibility. Because if they've done that over and over and over, and they know their investment like the back of their hand, those are the best people to go with. Those are the people that you know can get the job done. And especially if they've had to learn how to pivot and move as market conditions have changed, that's very important. Avoid the person. That doesn't mean they don't have good character, right? But I would definitely say there's a lot more risk, and I would avoid investing with people that said, hey, I got in the real estate investing space back in 2018. I'm ready to take your money. Okay, everybody in 2018, 2019 was making great money, and it seemed like everybody started doing real estate after it got better. I like it when people said, I started in real estate in 2009, 2010. You know, when the markets were lower, when they were having a hard time, when everybody was running away, they were running towards it and gaining good experience. Those are the kind of people that I like to trust my money with. And believe it or not, I'm not an active investor. Like you, if you're looking for passive investments, I do the same thing. I don't want to do my own investing. I want to turn that money over to somebody else that I can actually trust. All right, guys, I would love to hear your comments as well. What are some of the things you look for in a good investment operator? Go ahead and comment below before I get to this last point. All right, so my last point is find someone who's already vetted. Now, I mentioned about networking, and networking is so important, and that's true. But a way to shortcut that time frame, and this is what a lot of our clients have done, is they actually go to a network that already has vetted deals. This doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but it does mean that these deals have been looked at, that these people have been looked at, that they are in somebody else's network already. So you want to find a group where the deals have already been vetted. This is the case with Money Ripples. With our one-on-one clients that we work with in our strategic game plan consulting, we have people already in our network. We have over 20 vetted investment operators of all sorts and kinds. We have people from the turnkey real estate investment space, syndications, different types of funds in the alternative space, business partnerships, things like that, short-term lending, raw land, self-storage, apartments, all that kind of stuff, right? That's all a part of our network. And so what do? When our clients are looking for people in those specific places, they ask us. They say, hey, what are the kind of people that you would trust in this arena? And we say, here's some people that we would trust. Does not mean it's guaranteed by any way, shape, or form, and we're not giving investment advice at all, but we're saying, here are the people that I trust. Here's people I've put my own money with, right? And you can use them, you may not use them. That's the people we love to do. I had somebody just recently that said, hey, here's somebody that I would love to have you take a look at. And this is an investment that they were looking at was not in our group. Now, if they're not in our group, doesn't mean I shoot them down, but I do take it with a grain of salt. The one thing I noticed, they said, hey, we've got all this great investing experience, but guess what? It wasn't in that specific space. They had only just recently started doing like mobile home parks. Well, I said, I don't mind people doing mobile home parks. That could be a great investment, but they've only been doing it for a few years. I would go back to over here, look at this instead. Maybe this would be a better deal for you. And so that's the thing. There's a lot of landmines. There's a lot of things. And there are no guarantees in life, right? There just really aren't. And so that's why you want to make sure you have somebody that you can trust. So either you can do it yourself or you can have somebody who's done it for you already. So guys, if you got a lot of value from this, watch this next video about what to invest in while stocks are down. By the way, that's right now. Check it out.